Hi, everybody. My name is David Mylan. I'm the Director of Investor Relations with Nighthawk Equity. Thanks so much for tuning in today. What I want to discuss today is talk about first steps that a passive investor needs to take when they're thinking about investing with a syndicator. Right? You want to make sure you're as prepared as possible, and I'm here to kind of help guide you to that to make sure that you're as comfortable as possible investing with a brand new syndicator. Now, in general, the best thing a prospective investor can do when they're researching a syndicator is just that. Conduct thorough research on the syndicator as much as possible to help make sure that you know what's going on with your money, you know exactly what the investment looks like, as well as the history of the syndicator. So what's the best way to do that? In my mind, the best way to do that is to simply book a call with them. Right. So you jump on the phone, compile a thorough list of questions that you have prior to that. Those questions can be really anything that you want to know about them. But a couple good questions that I get in my daily intake calls are questions about our full cycle deals that we've had, questions about our underwriting style, as well as just kind of questions about generally an overview of our business strategy. Right. So anytime I get questions like that, I know the investor came into the call prepared and that they're, ready to learn more about Nighthawk. And that kind of gets me excited for them. Right. So the way these calls typically work is you ask those questions, they share all the answers with you. And they might follow up by sending you a list of materials. If they don't do that, you might as well go ahead and ask for those as well, because that's a very important next step as well. You want to be able to review materials of prior offerings from that syndicator. You can always ask for executive summaries, PPMs, financials, as well as webinar replays if they do hold webinars. So you can see exactly how the GPs talk about the deal, listen to the GPs talk about the underwriting as well as the market and the projected returns and all the information you need to know about the investment. So asking for materials is very key. It'll help you gain a further understanding of the syndicator's track record as well as their business overview as well. Other than that, perhaps most importantly, after you do all these things, is simply making sure the funds are in a movable position. Right. So the way Nighthawk works and the way many syndicators also work is these opportunities are done on a first come, first served basis. Right. And what that means is oftentimes when there's very high demand for these deals, they close up very quickly. Okay. And so if your funds are not in a movable position within a matter of days, it could cause you to miss out on the investment. So what does making sure they're in a movable position mean? Well, if you're investing through a self-directed IRA, you want to make sure that, first of all, that IRA is self-directed. Oftentimes, it's just an IRA. It's not set up in a self-directed account yet. That process can take 2, 3, sometimes upwards of 4 weeks. You want to make sure you get that squared away. Additionally, many investors come to me. They're saying, hey, I want to invest using an LLC. How can I get started on that? You want to get started immediately on setting up that LLC because, again, that process can take a couple of weeks. It's not simply a matter of transferring your funds to there. You have to go through the legal paperwork of setting up the entity, and that can take quite a while. Other than that, a lot of investors, they have their cash tied up in stocks. You want to make sure those are liquidated and ready to go by the time the webinar airs, by the time the investment process opens up. Because again, that could take 48, 72 hours sometimes. And if you're too late on that, if you start the process too late, you might miss out on the investment. So, that's just kind of general advice on how to approach a new syndicator and make sure that you're comfortable with them. As far as Nighthawk goes specifically, what you're going to want to do is, if you haven't already, feel free to give me an email, right? I want to set up a call with you. You can kind of, use those steps that I gave you earlier in terms of asking questions, getting materials from us. Shoot me an email at david@nighthawkequity.com. We'll set up a good time and date that works for you and ask me any questions that pop up, right? So once we do that, then I'm happy to send you over materials. Again, send you over PPMs, executive summaries, financials of deals that we've done in the past, just so you get a good understanding of Nighthawk's track record. One thing to keep in mind with Nighthawk specifically is, there's oftentimes there is high demand for our deals. We've had deals close up within 48 hours at times. They're on a first come, first serve basis. So we don't really have a hard deadline. It really depends on when we, fill up, when we get that last dollar needed to complete our equity raise. So if you follow those steps, you should put yourself in a pretty good position to not only be prepared for the syndication, but to, just come in with as much knowledge as possible to make sure that you're making the right investment for yourself. Other than that, again, if you haven't scheduled a call with me, feel free to do so. Please email me again at david@nighthawkequity.com. And beyond that, thanks for tuning in. That's all I got for you today, and have a good rest of your day.